I didn't know what to expect when I walked into Mediahotch. I just knew I was meeting someone different. This right here is not just another interview. I sat down with the biggest branding mind in Zaria, Kaduna, Mr. Ila Bappa Ibrahim, a name that echoes in Zaria creative circles. The man behind some of the most beautiful personal brands in the north. But what he's building is way bigger than branding. In this interview, he breaks it all down. What personal branding is and what exactly it's not. Why it's no longer optional and how you watching this, how you can build yours starting today. Then he gave me a talk Mediahotch, the powerhouse he's building right here in the heart of the north. Why his roots in Kaduna matters and how he's raising the next generation of tech entrepreneurs. And trust me, when you hear exactly how he got started, you will understand why this man is different. I didn't just come to film, I came to learn. And what I walked away with changed how I see everything. I came with questions, I left with a roadmap. This is more than an interview. This is a masterclass. Let's dive in. Mr. Ila Bappa Ibrahim.
Thank you very much for coming to our office. Actually, mostly identify as Ila Bappa.
Ila Bappa.
Yes, the Ibrahim is silent, and it will shock you that the Ibrahim is my actual name.
Oh, wow.
I just prefer people calling me Ila Bappa because if you do a social experiment now, just walk on the street and say Ibrahim and see how many people will pop up. But because of my personal brand, I wouldn't want people to confuse me with someone else. So I had to just make sure that my actual brand name is Ila Bappa. Ila Bappa Ibrahim is just a regular person who grew up in Zaria. And I like to identify myself as a brand designer because that's what I do at the core. I'm a critic and a perfectionist. I dabbled into so many different fields, photography, videography, voiceover, front-end development, content creation, all of those things. But I like to call myself a brand designer because that is one of the things that I do that I know people really need and would also equally get me money at the same time. So it fits in the Ikigai model for my own personal self. So that's what I identify as.
You spoke about a concept, Ikigai. I've heard a lot about this. I haven't read a book. Can you...
The Japanese Ikigai.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so the Ikigai is a model for finding out what your true calling is to nature. The Japanese people believe that everybody has a true calling. And at the end of the day, it's not everybody that understands what their true calling is. We mostly find ourselves doing things because they are situational or they are conditional, not because that's what our true calling is. So to get people to be at their optimal performance and, giving back to the community, the best thing they should do is find out what their Ikigai is. So the Ikigai is a model that helps you figure out what you should be doing as a person to this planet. And the first thing, it has to be something that you love doing. Secondly, it has to be something that people want. And the third thing is that it has to be something that gets you paid. So if you have any passion for any of the fields that are readily available out there, you have to make sure that you figure out the one that actually fits in those three criteria. And for me, I can tell you that without even thinking twice, it is branding. I've been doing it for the fun of it. I didn't even know there was money in it up until when people started paying me money to do designs. That was when I realized, oh shit, there's money in this thing. I need to really double down on it because I was doing it for the fun of it and I know that people like it. But I didn't know there was money in it. So when I figured out there was money in it and I sat down, looked at all of the other skills that I have, this is the one that actually fits the Ikigai. And it's something that I can talk about for hours and hours and hours. So, and the thing is, when you look at the world that we live in right now, everybody needs branding, whether you are an entity or whether you are an individual or you are a corporate entity.
Personal branding,
Yes.
that is your stronghold. What does this mean? Because a lot of people get it confused with having a logo or something of sorts. What does it really mean? What does it entail?
Okay, so personal branding is what people think about you when you're not in the room. You might not even know it exists. A lot of people don't know that their personal brand exists. Everybody has a personal brand. For example, there is that one friend that you have that if I should just call his name, the first thing that will come to your head is he eats too much.
Ibrahim.
Exactly. See, that's his personal brand. He most likely does not even know that he has a personal brand. What people think about you when you're not in the room, the emotion that you evoke when people hear your name is your personal brand. So whether you work on it or you don't, it still exists. And people are going to judge you based on your personal brand. So you will be better off making an intentional decision to work on it than to just let people assume whatever they want to assume. So personal brand, your personal brand is all that people think about when they hear you. For example, if you should hear anybody should tell you Ila Bappa, the first thing that will come to your head is, that guy is a brand designer, right? Because that's my personal brand. I'm intentional about it. I make sure everybody around me knows that I'm a brand designer. Even when I introduce myself in public places, I introduce myself as Ila Bappa, the brand advisor, right? On my social media pages, it is branded like that. On my website, it is still the same thing. Anywhere you see me talk, I get introduced as the brand designer. That's because that's what I want people to identify me as. I want people to remember me as a brand designer so that whenever they hear my name, the first thing that comes to their head is branding. Now, it's the same thing with every other person. The chairman here behind the camera, it's the same thing. When you hear his name, the first thing that comes to your head is what? He's a videographer, right? That's his personal brand. He might not necessarily know it, or he might not necessarily make an intentional effort about it, but you need it. And let me tell you this, the day you start working on your personal brand, that's the day you realize that people are actually watching. Because one of my first top 5 big gigs that I got was when I decided to, put together my personal brand. I've been doing branding for a lot of people, but I never for once sat down and said, oh, let me do my personal brand. But when I decided to go about it, I put together a logo for my own brand, my own personal brand. I put together a website, social media pages. I deleted all those pictures of me when I was in the university, catching crews and all of that. I made it clear that once you come to this page, you are on a page of a person who is actually into branding, because that's what I want people to remember me with. And that's the week the first week, I decided to start this 30 days personal branding challenge. And on day 3, I did day 4, someone reached out to me and she was like, please drop me your number. I need to call you. We need to talk. And nonchalantly, I just did. And she called, and then that was my first breakthrough to, meeting high profile clients that I have met in the last 10 years, to joke with it. As a matter of fact, this interview, when you reached out to me and said you're going to do this interview with me, the first thing that came to my head is, how does this add up to my personal brand? Well, you have an audience out there that you're definitely going to show it to, right? So these people are going to see me and they're going to know that this is what I do, right? That's also part of personal branding. And where most people make mistakes, they just assume personal branding in general is just creating a logo and putting a name to it and colors and then slapping it on probably 1 or 2 posters or packaging. It's way beyond that. Branding is everything your brand stands for. It includes your social media post. It includes you speaking in public. It's also part of branding. The colors that you use, the emotion that those colors evoke when people see them, that's also part of branding. For example, if you look at Red Bull, I always like making an example with Red Bull. If you go to their social media pages, right, check what they post. You don't see them posting, oh, come and buy Red Bull. They only have one Red Bull product. It's just Red Bull. Everybody knows it's an energy drink. So what do you think they post on their social media? They post the emotion that their drink evokes, right? The adrenaline rush you get when you take their drink. That's the feeling. It's called emotional selling. They are selling the emotion that comes with taking their drink. Posting on your social media page is also considered branding, if you understand it properly. I keep telling people, if I'm ever going to go back to the university, I'll do almost everything the same. The only thing I'm going to change is that I'm going to know everybody. I will know everybody in my school, including my VC, including the cleaners that are cleaning the classes and all that. Because life has taught me that everybody is important.
Yes. I've thought a lot about the kind of videos that I want to put out. I've done different format of videos. I and Kamal, we've sat down and brainstorm on ideas. Yeah, but I came to this conclusion. I was like, no, I want to speak with experts in their field so that I too can get educated and my audience will get valuable information. I feel that I am not qualified to teach. So that is why I'm leveraging the expertise of people like you to inspire and educate me and my audience.
What if I tell you that I feel you're qualified enough to teach other people? Everybody is qualified, no matter how little. As long as you know, there's somebody who doesn't know. If you know A, there's somebody out there who doesn't even know the alphabet exists. So if, let's say, for example, this is a journey of a 15-step ladder, right?
Yeah.
You'll probably be at step 3. I'm not saying you are currently at step 3, but I'm saying, let's say you are at step 3, right? Yes. But you can always look back and tell people at step 1 who are just starting, or step 2, that, well, I was there and I know what happened. Yeah, be careful about this and that and that. You could caution them, you could warn them, you could give them tips and tricks of how you got over those particular steps. So it doesn't matter. Advice could come from anybody. They could tell you from their own experience. It might not even be that they could still be at the level 2. Not that they have already passed that level. They could still be at level 2 and you still be at level 2. But they can look at you and tell you, I've been here longer than you and I've made this mistake. It didn't work. That's them saving you one try. You know that you don't have to try it anymore because they've already done it and it didn't work. So you can always learn from somebody. So I don't believe there is such thing as I'm not qualified enough. As long as you know something, it's a responsibility on you to push it further. And guess what? The more you do, the more you build your personal brand. I've come to realize that the best way to put your personal brand out there is to teach somebody, train somebody, mentor somebody. Because during the mentorship program, that is when you understand the mentorship period. That's when you understand certain things. You understand certain things better. You learn new things as the facilitator yourself. You learn new things and then you learn the things that you already know better. So there's no such thing as you're not qualified enough. You are qualified. In the eyes of someone, I'm not a professional. In the eyes of someone who is probably at level 15 might look at me and be like, yep, you still have a long way to go. So the truth is, there's always someone better than us. And we're always better than someone.
I agree with this 100% because I do have this same thinking. But if I think the people that are at level 0 or level 1 may understand and resonate better with someone that is at level 3 or level 4, better than someone that is at level 50 and is not in touch with how it is to be in level 1 anymore.
True. That's correct. That's why I always tell people, if you want to learn from people, don't just look at people at the top. For example, when a lot of Nigerians are always about Elon Musk, every entrepreneur is crazy about Elon Musk right now. You cannot even think about emulating things Elon Musk is doing. He's on an entirely different level. As an entrepreneur, look at people in your environment who have already made it, right? Or probably your country who are already doing good. Start emulating from those people. Do what they do. Learn from them, even if it means them mentoring you. That's how you grow. But you cannot start doing things Elon Musk is beyond control, right? So that's exactly what I'm saying. Don't just look for, there are instances where you have to look at those people for inspiration and all that, but they shouldn't be the people that you look at and say you want to emulate. Imagine you have a small business. Elon Musk is, sending rockets to space, and you have your own startup with just 10 million naira in the account. Would you even start thinking about sending rockets or building automobiles that actually drive themselves? That would be impossible. You don't have that kind of capacity. So you have to look at what is doable in your immediate community. Those are the people that what have founders done in my community or within my own reach, and what have you done? How did they do it? And then you learn from them. When you get to their level, then you can start looking at, okay, people who are already ahead of them before you get to people like Elon Musk.
Speaking about environment and starting from your environment, I would expect someone like you, someone of your caliber, and what you are doing here, I would expect you to be in places like Lagos, Abuja. What are you doing here? What are you doing in Zaria? Why Zaria?
Well, I get that question a lot. A lot of people ask me, why would you come to Zaria and then, start building something like this? You are definitely not going to, scale up fast, and you're not going to make a lot of money as much as you would in places like Kaduna, Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and all that. And I keep saying that it's not that I don't want to go to those places. I could go to those places. But the problem is, if everybody's running away from Zaria, then who's going to build Zaria? So for me, I feel this is more like a way of giving back to the community that gave back to me. Because I remember when I graduated, I was looking for, creative spaces where I'm going to network with people, like-minded people in Zaria. There was none. It was very difficult to find a creative person who is even willing to share what they know. Everybody's being stingy with their knowledge. But fast forward to this moment, we have co-working spaces here and there. You have people who are willing to share, who are willing to mentor you for free online. So I feel there is a lot that needs to be done in Zaria, and building up a business like Startup Zaria is something that would actually propel that vision that I have for Zaria to where it should be. So I'm doing this mostly because I feel Zaria has a lot of potentials, and it could be, competing with like places like Kano and Abuja and Lagos. But because there are no people investing in Zaria, it's becoming very difficult for the native people of Zaria to even have access to some of these fundamental infrastructures. So we felt the need to just put together Startup Zaria, which is a community powered by the community, it's a tech community powered by the community. And we have since run multiple programs for free. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. But at the end of the day, we can always look back and say, yep, we're able to at least impact on a couple of hundred people. So that's just one of the things that is keeping me in Zaria. I probably would have been in Abuja or Kano or Kaduna. But
When I first met you, I spoke with my friend. He told me about Startup Zaria. So and Founders Friday.
yes.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you're into tech, and by the way, I'm a software developer. He said, yeah, you benefit from this, and then I immediately joined the groups, and I I was like, this person that came up with this whole idea in this place, I have to speak with this person. I talked to him. I was like, we'll make it happen. He kept, we'll call so and so. And then when they told me that you were doing that very first event I
Innovate
attended,
Zaria,
Innovate
yes.
Zaria, yes, that very first event, it was like they're going to be pitching. It's like, cool. It's like, can I meet the founders? Like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, you know what? Just get me there. I went. We registered for the event, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to pitch. While everybody were pitching their uh, ideas and everything, I just wanted to get your attention. That's what
You did actually. You got
and that's
my
what I
attention.
did. I just came. I didn't talk too much. I was like, well, I'm here for you. Can we talk?
And I really like the fact that you did that, because it told me that this is somebody that knows exactly what he wants and he's getting it by all means necessary.
Yes.
That just reminds me of myself,
Thank you.
because that's exactly who I am. If I say I want something, I don't care. I'm going to bend over backward to get it done. That's just who I am. So when you said that, I was like, okay, I need to meet this guy, because this is someone that we share the same kind of energy. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What inspired Startup Zaria and Innovate Zaria? Oh,
Okay. So Innovate Zaria is a movement. It's not an entity, it's a movement that we're trying to put together, or we've already put together. It's a motion. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we let people know that we are intentional about, propelling or catapulting the impact of technology here in Zaria. So regardless whether you are a business, unregistered business, or a registered business, or whether you are, a small scale business, or already a large enterprise, there is still room for you to leverage technology in your business operations and what have you. So Innovate Zaria is a movement where we plan on equipping people or business people, tech enthusiasts and students and educators with tech tools that can help them propel whatever they do in life. So regardless whether you're a housewife, and I mean, we live it up north here. Some men don't really necessarily don't allow their women go out there and engage in business activities and all that. But with the coming of technology, it's very easy for women, married women, to actually do their business without even having contact with people. So we're trying to see a situation where we empower them, we support them, we guide them on how to kickstart their own businesses from the comfort of their homes, and then still be able to make a living out of it. So Startup Zaria is so many things, but this is just what I can tell you about. Innovate Zaria is so many things, but this is what I can tell you about it in a nutshell. Meanwhile, Startup Zaria is the name of the company that is actually powering the Innovate Zaria event. And aside from that, we look for opportunities from different parts of the world, and then we see how we can bring it down to the people that are in Zaria, because we notice most people in Zaria are not necessarily aware of the opportunities that are out there. The classic example is the 3MTC project. We a lot of people that I know applied, and we Startup Zaria to be part of the trainers, and so far so good. I know only 2 organizations that have passed that phase, and we're waiting to be selected for the training. So after the first cohort, second cohort, I reached out to the Kano State coordinator for the 3MTT program, and I was like, I don't think there's any center in Zaria that is actually, providing the training for the fellows. And he said the problem is that the people in Zaria that applied are not enough for, the ministry to create a cluster in Zaria. So this should tell you the level at which opportunities come and go without anybody in Zaria noticing. From 2012 to date, I could know of just 2 trainings that have been done by people in Zaria that is sponsored that have been executed by people in Zaria that is sponsored by someone else from outside the world, from outside the country rather. Now the thing is, the reason is because we are not mostly aware, and we're not positioning ourselves in a place where we are going to be found, which comes back to personal branding. And what we're trying to do for Startup Zaria is trying to brand Zaria as the Silicon Valley of Northern Nigeria. I know that this is a bold statement, and it's going to take a lot of effort to make it happen, because of course places like Abuja and Kano do exist. They're already leading the charts, but I believe we have what it takes to put Zaria on the map. So we have to start by making baby steps. But by the time, Zaria has a lot of educational institutes. Most of the people that are actually making noise and making waves out there are mostly product of Zaria. They learn from Zaria, but then they leave Zaria. So if everybody is running away from Zaria, who's going to build it? So that is exactly the gap that Startup Zaria is trying to bridge. We want to have local talents feel safe to stay and work their talents in Zaria.
I think that day during that Innovate Zaria, that event, I took a photo.
Okay.
I see have it up on my X, my Twitter page.
Okay.
I took a photo right there. I tweeted it. It was all female panelists.
Yes.
It was amazing. It was, because when I just walked in, I didn't meet any male there. It was just female panelists, and I was keen to listen. Then there was one woman that was talking about her business. Forgotten what line of business she was doing.
The baker. The one that has a bakery.
Oh yeah, a bakery.
Yummy pastries, I remember.
Yeah, Yummy Pastries, exactly. She talked about how her husband helped her start up, with little capital, and then she grew from there. And I was like, oh wow.
Yes.
I just tweeted like we need more women in this space.
Honestly, we do. We need more women in the tech space. And of course, I could see, compared to the last 5 years, I could see that lots of women are actually making strides. We have some, I can list off the top of my head, I can give you 10 women that are actually doing wonderful things in tech in Zaria.
Especially Muslim women.
Yes.
We need Muslim women because they are very silent. We have a lot of talent, I promise you. I've spoken with ladies that you were like, why don't you even have a channel? Speak up, say something. But then they'll be like, I don't know, listen to me.
Oh, my husband is not going to approve.
Exactly.
My father is not going to do this and that and that. Yes, we get that a lot. We get that a lot. And this is one of the reasons why we always try to reach out to those parents and those husbands, educate them on the importance of some of these things. We are not saying you have to let your, a woman walk naked or show her, chest and all that before she sells. She could do that. We have people running faceless YouTube channels and they're cashing out big time. Why can't we do it here in Zaria? How much would it cost to kickstart it? We actually did a course, a short session here on faceless YouTube channel at Startup Zaria. We did that. We had one of our space users. He's actually a faceless a YouTuber. And what he does is just hire people, tell them how to go about creating the content, and pay them as they create. So for every gig you do, you're done, you get paid instantly. And he has been cashing out since. So imagine if we give in that kind of support to our women and ask them, well, you can do this, you have the talent to do this, you can do it. That would make a lot of difference. That's more money coming to Zaria. And I'm telling you, it's going to really boost the economy. I mean, right now, you can't compare the purchasing power of Zaria to Kaduna. You can't compare the purchasing power of Zaria to Abuja, right? There are things that the prices are, if you, for example, if somebody from this part of the world, right, if is asking me for my catalog, I send them, most of the time they no, this is too expensive, I cannot afford it. But if you go to Abuja, you tell them this is my catalog. Is that the last price? That's the last price. Or I send your account number. That's what they do. And reason is because there is money in circulation in Abuja.
Yes.
Money is coming in, money is going out. But in Zaria, the people who have the money don't spend it. So the purchasing power is very, very little.
I'd rather spend outside.
They'd rather, but that is exactly why, the market is a little bit different. But the more you have creators creating and then money is being flooded into Zaria and that same money is being spent into Zaria, the economy grows when money leaves one hand to the other. That's the reality. If money leaves one hand to the other, it keeps going round and round and round and round. That's when an economy grows. But if the money is in one person's hand or a few set of people's hands, right, and the rest of the people will not even see the money at all, there's going to be a stagnation in the growth of the economy. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we use the necessary available, emerging technologies to make sure that we propel the businesses of people and careers of people that we have here in Zaria, so that they have something to rely on, and of course we have that money circulating.
I discussed this thing with my partner, and firstly, I've been looking for a house. I want to move to Abuja, and I thought to myself, like, the prices that they're giving me over there, oh my goodness, it's too much. You see, average 2-bedroom apartment is like 3 to 4 million, and then mostly the landlords, they're asking for around at least 2 years rent. That is insanity, So I thought to myself, I was like, I'm still a young guy, I'm a young lad, I'm building. So, and most of what I do is remote. The people I meet mostly is remote. So why don't I just build here in Zaria, just stay here? I made the conscious decision that I'm going to stay here, I'm going to marry here. I'm going to, in fact, I've been looking for a house in Kabama here.
Oh, perfect.
So by the ending of the year, Bismillah, I should get a good apartment and stay here. But where I stay already, I want to convert it into a studio.
You should do that. I would advise you 100% to do that.
I want to turn it into a studio, a podcast studio with different sections. Now, if you are part of my community with Azeez, you can come and use our studio for free. But if you're not part of our community, you can. If you're not part of our community, you have to rent the studio.
Yeah.
And then we'll have equipment. We'll start buying a lot of equipment. You can rent our equipment and use them. But the most important thing is the studio. We want to turn that place into a full-blown podcast and whatever studio.
Fantastic.
Here in Zaria.
Fantastic. I would really, really appreciate if you do that, because that makes access to some of these resources easy for content creators, because a lot of people are thinking, I want to do content creation, I want to start podcasts, I want to.
No excuse.
But they always fixate on the fact that I don't have a tripod, I don't have a big 4K camera, I don't have light, I don't have these things. I always tell people, forget about all those fancy things. The most important thing is the message you're passing. The most important thing is the message that you are passing. A typical example, I don't know if you know this guy, Dembello.
Dembello. You know him? I don't know.
You know Dembello, right? Take a look at Dembello's videos. He doesn't care whether the video is sharp or not. He doesn't care what he wears. He doesn't care. The most important thing is his audio is good.
Yeah.
And he passes the message. This guy has millions of followers right now. And completely from the beginning of when he started listening to his stardom, is less than 2 years. So consistency for 2 years can take you there. So people always worry about, I want my video to look like Peter McKinnon's video, as I want proper transition, I want proper sounds, all those swoosh, whatever. No, that's just nice to have, but they are not the must have.
These people go down to their videos, you see that they started rough.
Of course, they all started rough, but they perfected as they create. So there is no better teacher as, your experience.
Let's take a walk.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this is Mr. Ila Bappa's office. Very exquisite. Let's go.
So This is actually a private office, so you could rent this, and we'll provide you with internet access, 247 electricity, and of course there's a chair that swivels. It's because you guys came on the weekend, so the place is just ransacked left, right, and center. But of course, you would be provided with the basic facilities you need, and a couch in case you're tired of walking. You can just rest your back, and as you can see, the
These
the
are
room is
panels, yeah?
soundproof. Yes.
Oh,
So it's going to be it's a very nice place for you to record your audios and
truly.
the other office. It's similar to this, but there's someone already using it. It's occupied.
The restroom.
And that's the restroom.
The ladies.
And then here's the shared space.
Okay.
And here's a lounge.
It's quite big.
Yes.
Oh, this is the
shelf.
The waiting room.
Yes, it's the waiting room. And you have shelves. You have books that you can read actually.
Nice. No, I don't want to eat. I don't want to read books. I want to eat. Start of Zaria. Mediahotch. Let's go.
So this is our general
this
space. It's our general space. We use it for we use it as our studio, as our classroom, as just so many things, depending on what it's. We use it for conference room at the same time.
These are all the.
Yes, these are all brands that we have worked with in the past. Girltech Africa, it's an NGO that focuses on educating girls between the age of 13 to 18.
Oh.
Yes, and Mediahotch Branding and Marketing Limited, which is my branding and marketing agency.
I love this.
This is my personal brand logo. And your cleaning agent is another brand that we have worked with in the past. And they provide cleaning services, all kinds of cleaning services to businesses and individuals all around the area. Now, North Nigeria is a lifestyle page where we talk about the lifestyle of people living in northern Nigeria, basically. And of course, Startup Zaria, which is
my personal favorite.
So this is a team space.
Staff only.
So this is a team space.
Nice.
If you have a team of people you would really want to come and work with and you wouldn't want to be disturbed, this is the best place to actually go. You could just rent the whole space, and of course there's a restroom. And then
I like this. Are you sure we're not going to move here?
And then these two are where we keep our equipment.
Okay.
This is where a lot of the magic happens. We do all kinds of printing: t-shirt, mugs, pickups, car wraps. Of course, here are some of our studio equipment that we use for photography and videography, basically.
This year, you bought the place or you're renting?
No, I'm renting the whole space. Most of us always think that, well, you have the money, just buy the whole space. Who are the commercial institutions that we have, the commercial financial institutions that we have, banks, right?
Yeah.
Now, these people usually don't buy the places that they're actually working, doing their whole banking, whatever. They rent it. And for you to think about it, as someone who is just trying to put A and B together, right? It wouldn't make sense for you to just tie your money up
into something.
Yeah. You would be better off just renting it out. Say, for example, if your rent is #1 million, 5 years rent is 5 million naira. 5 million naira is not even going to do a foundation for you.
True.
Now, imagine if you have, say, 20 million naira, and that 20 million naira is enough for you to erect your office space, right? What do you think would happen if you just hire a space for 1 million naira for 5 years and use the remaining 50 million naira, invest it for 5 years and see what would happen? So it's financial indiscipline for someone who is living hand to mouth or someone who is trying to put A and B together to say they are going to go out there and start building. No, real estate is for people who have money that even if they steal from them, they want to make.
Yeah.
If you are trying to make it, don't build houses. No, invest in businesses that will bring you multiple sources of income. Then whatever you get from that income, you can go and build whatever you want later. But it's never advisable. I mean, this is something that we've been taught in school, consciously or subconsciously, right? You go to school. The idea is go to school, graduate, get a job, buy a car, build a house. All of these things are liabilities.
Of course.
Right? They're all liabilities. I mean, even if it's your own house, you build your own house. After 3 years, it's going to start needing maintenance.
Of course.
Every year, you're going to use the same amount of money you're going to pay rent to maintain the house if you want it to be in the same standard. So I always advise people, Don't build a house if you don't have money that even if someone steals from you, you want to know. You want to know. By the time you pay your rent for 5 years and you invest the rest of the 15 million naira for 5 years, even if it's a low risk investment, low return, low risk investment, your money is still going to be there, but you're going to be in profits.
Lastly, if I want to start building my personal brand right from today, what steps do you think I should take?
I think you should take your social media presence, very, very important. Yes, that is where people start understanding you. Because the people that you're not going to meet are way more than the people that you're ever going to meet. Some of these people only know you online. They would never have the opportunity to meet you. So the best way to scale up your audience is to take your social media. For example, if you meet me on the street, I'm a very regular guy. But if you go on my social media page, you will think I'm entirely different person. And it's not like I'm faking my life. It's exactly what I'm doing that I'm putting out there.
Yeah.
But I'm selective about the things that I put out there.
Of course.
Because my social media page is my business. It's not the place where I go and post me and my family posing and all of that. Do you get?
Yes.
So I have to vet the content that goes on my social media page. And then who I am in person. Because of my personality, my profession does not necessarily mean I have to act that way even in the streets. Probably in the next 4 hours, you see me in the next football street here playing football with the boys around. I don't care.
Lastly.
You said lastly 3 times.
Yeah. Well, I promise this is the last one. Yeah. Who is the next person you think that we should interview next?
Let's see. The next person you should interview in this area,
Yes.
I think you should interview Yazid S. Mikhail.
Who now?
Yazid S. Mikhail.
Yazid
S. Mikhail.
S. Mikhail.
Yes. He's a climate enthusiast.
Okay.
He believes in green ecosystem and all that. So he's someone that he's someone that I really, really admire, and I believe you are definitely going to learn a lot from him. Yes. Please check him out.
We'll make a research, and he's one that said we should interview you. So very much for this. I promise I learned a lot.
It's a pleasure.
I'm going to keep building my
please,
Azeez,
you should. I advise you to do the same too.
Of course, he put out content on real estate and architecture. Yeah.
Oh, I'll definitely check your page. What's your handle? I'll definitely check your page.
It does that.
Definitely.